So today I'm going to talk about a tech that'll probably soon be used by just about everybody on Earth. And this is pretty huge. And according to some, it will help usher in the next industrial revolution. And in my opinion, it'll be the backbone of the Great Reset. And I hadn't even heard of this before about a month ago. I think this will lay the infrastructure for the new internet. It'll soon power the huge markets of the Metaverse, IoT, and AI, and not to mention what it'll do for the crypto space as far as instant payments. So if you're a holder of XRP or XLM, you'll definitely want to check this out. Hey, this is Lucas and welcome back to the channel. So a couple months ago, I was deciding on if I wanted to add to my XLM bag. So I was looking around on Twitter for some XLM news and a tweet caught my attention. Now, I don't know if this one was the exact one I saw because there was a couple of them like this and neither one of them had very many views. And this tweet here was basically summing up some of the info that had been posted over on Kendra Hill's Steeming account. And for those who don't know who Kendra Hill is, I'll try to sum it up pretty quickly. She was supposedly the daughter and granddaughter of some investment bankers. And she was gifted a huge amount of XRP. She said, I think it was like 1 million of them. She was told to never sell them because the price would go off the chart. And she goes on to talk about some other things that probably fall into the category of the Great Reset. And here's what it says. It says, XRP equals gold-backed currency. XLM equals global currency using Lifi. Religion, one world religion by 2030, Kendra Hill. So the part in there that really caught my attention was the part about Lifi. I'd been in this space, I've been in this space a long time and I'd never heard of Lifi, so I wanted to see what her original Steemit post said about Lifi. So if you go over here to her other tweet, this is what it says, and this has to do with XLM. It says, step into the light, introducing the one currency that will replace all fiat currencies, the Lumen. It can be transferred in seconds for less than the value of a penny, and the supply is capable of scaling to meet the needs of a growing world population. The Lumen can be defined as the luminous flux of light produced by a light source. Lucifer is the bearer of light, the morning star. Soon we'll be sending lumens using Lifi, light used to transmit data. Welcome to the age of Lucifer. So she kind of goes off the rails there at the end with the Lucifer and the light bearer and the morning star and all that. And that is probably a video for another day because she's also talking about Lucius Trust down here. So I was thinking about doing something regarding that later. So what is Lifi, right? So let's take a look over here on Wiki. And it says Lifi is a wireless communication technology which utilizes light to transmit data and position between devices. The term was first introduced by Haas during a 2011 TED Global Talk. Lifi is a light communication system that is capable of transmitting data at high speeds over the visible light, ultralight, and infrared spectrums. In its present state, only LED lamps can be used for the transmission of data in visible light. In terms of its end user, the technology is similar to Wi-Fi. The key technical difference being that Wi-Fi uses radio frequency to introduce a voltage in an antenna to transmit data, whereas Lifi uses the modulation of light intensity to transmit data. Lifi is able to function in areas otherwise susceptible to electromagnetic interference, like aircraft cabins, hospitals, or the military. So basically, this takes any light bulb in your home, your car, or even in street lights and turns them into kind of like a port for data to be sent back and forth bi-directionally. So I had a few questions about this. Well, what about at night when you're sleeping and it's dark out? Will it still work? And if you come over here to the Twitter account, The Futurism, they have a video about Lifi. And what they're basically saying in it, I don't want to play it because of the music in it. What they're basically saying is that when you sleep, you will perceive the lights as being off. But in reality, there'll still be just enough light to transmit data. So I assume it'll kind of be like the dimmer switches that you can install in your home. You can turn down your lights way down and it looks like they're off, but really they're not. So my next question is how important will Lifi be? Well, it turns out that it looks like it's going to be pretty important. In this TED Talk, let me move it over here. In this TED Talk, called Lifi to Unlock the Third Industrial Revolution. Harald Haas, who is one of the creators of Lifi, talks about just how important it'll be. Now, take a listen. I'm going to play a little bit. I'm not going to play too much. And if you're interested in these videos, I'll put the links in the description. And remember, this is 2016.
Trying to convince you that Lifi, a technology I first coined 2011 at TEDxWHU, can unlock the third industrial revolution. We have had the second industrial revolution, and energy and oil were the main drivers of that revolution. In the future, it will be data and data networks and the Internet of Things that will drive the future 21st century data-centric societies. The earlier we recognize that trend, the earlier we can identify barriers. And I see one main barrier is, do we have enough data pipes to transmit all the data that we need to let this economy grow? So to show you how important that is, by 2020, what we have on the planet is 44 zettabytes of data generated. This is 44 with 21 zeros. To compare that, that would mean this is about as many bits on the planet as we have stars in the universe. And this data is not only generated by humans, as it is primarily now. This data will be generated by machines, by things. And I'll give you an example here. A turbine, an electric turbine, generates per day 10 terabytes of data. So essentially about 10 hard drives full of data every day from a wind turbine. Now imagine you have your things at home, your toaster, your fridge, your oven, your car, your watch. Everything is generating data at that rate. And in fact, people say that by 2020, we will have 80 billion IoT devices, Internet of Things devices. This is about 10 times the whole world population. And the way these Internet of Things devices are connected to the internet is by wireless means. So the question is, do we have enough oil, hence means to transmit wireless data, or not?
So let's think about all the things that we've been hearing about lately, as far as the Internet of Things, the Metaverse, NFTs, driverless cars, robots and AI, delivery drones. And for us here in the crypto market, we know that there will be instant payments all over the world to those who are unbanked. Lifi will make all of this happen. So this is way off into the future, right? And we're never going to see it in our lifetimes. Well, there's already large companies like Airbus who've already integrated this technology into their companies. And there's an article over here on Auto Evolution. It says, Airbus pioneers next generation Lifi wireless communication on board business jets. It says, when thinking about private and business jets, some of the first things that come to mind are luxurious amenities and the latest technology features. One of them is Lifi, light fidelity connectivity, and Airbus is the first aircraft manufacturer to introduce it on board luxury jets. Earlier this year, Airbus Corporate Jet signed an agreement with LIS to develop an innovative in-flight entertainment system called the ACJ Smart Lifi Monitor. This smart 4K monitor doesn't only enable Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, but also what is considered the latest wireless communication technology, which sends data using light. So big companies are using Lifi, but is it available to the average Joe like us? Well, it looks like it is. If you come over here to Pure Lifi, and they're one of the leaders in creating devices that power a Lifi, they have a Lifi dongle, and you can hook this to your laptop and then take advantage of Lifi. Kind of works like the old Ethernet dongles that you used to be able to hook up to your laptops back in the day. And they also have the Lifi enabled phone case here. And I'll play a little bit of this just so you can see how it works.
This video will demonstrate the Lifi enabled phone case for the Moto G mobile phone. As you can see here, the phone case incorporates two light antennas, one front facing and the other top facing. The phone case also incorporates two indicator LED lights for demonstration purposes. This would not be required in the real-world integration. These lights do not transmit data. First, we will demonstrate how the Li-Fi-enabled phone can quickly and securely transfer a file while pointing at another Li-Fi-enabled phone. As you can see here, this 4K video is transferring in a couple of seconds. Li-Fi is a wireless technology that requires intentional connectivity. As you can see here, when the phone is pointed away from the target, there is no transfer of data, allowing for the user to control where information is shared. This makes Li-Fi particularly useful for sending payments or secure information.
Okay, so you remember when they were there, when we keep hearing about banking the unbanked with smartphones? Well, this is how they'll do it. And I mean, for me being an XLM and XRP holder, this is actually pretty exciting. So what are some of the real world applications that Li-Fi will be used for? Let's take a look over here. Number one is Li-Fi and live streaming. Two is Li-Fi in hospitals. Let's see, go down. Li-Fi in pharmacies and the pharmaceutical industry. Li-Fi in the workplace. Li-Fi in schools. Li-Fi in retail. Li-Fi in airplanes. Li-Fi in disaster management. Li-Fi in industry 4.0, which is kind of what we're hitting on a lot with the crypto and the AI and stuff. Li-Fi and augmented reality. There's your Metaverse. Li-Fi and airport 4.0. Li-Fi and military. Let's see, a couple more here. Li-Fi and navy. Li-Fi and underwater applications. Li-Fi and cryptocurrency. So I'm going to leave this list down there. You can read. Sorry, I didn't read a lot of it. It would have taken forever, but I'm going to leave a link in the description. And you can read these articles if you want. Now, I remember a few years ago back, I don't know if it was 10 years ago or something, we saw a huge push to get rid of incandescent bulbs and move to using LED bulbs. And I remember, of course, the reason was being because of the environment. It's just like everything else. They use the environment to push another part of the reset. And recently, under Joe Biden, the Department of Energy is phasing out and banning all incandescents before July 2023. In this article on CBS News, it says incandescent light bulbs to be switched off in 2023 under new Biden rules. The Biden administration is pulling the plug on incandescent light bulbs in favor of energy-efficient light-emitting diodes, or LEDs. The phase out of the old-fashioned bulbs is aimed at reducing utility bills and conserving energy. The U.S. Department of Energy said on Tuesday said it was raising energy efficiency standards for light bulbs, giving manufacturers 75 days to phase out incandescents before an outright ban in July 2023. Incandescent bulbs use a higher wattage than LEDs for the same level of brightness. So what this sounds like to me is that the consumers, me and you, we're going to be building the Li-Fi infrastructure. No longer will data companies have to pay for their towers or their infrastructure. We're actually buying these light bulbs and putting them in our home, and that will be the new infrastructure for this Li-Fi network. So now let's take a look at the 5G industry. There's been quite a bit of concern and controversy surrounding 5G, and some of the reasons is the inefficiency of the towers used. Another one is how these towers interact with the environment. And then there's the health concerns for humans. We've seen, or at least I've seen, people talking about how they've either gotten cancer or brain tumors just by living next to a 5G tower. Now, whether or not this is true, I don't know. But what's interesting is that they're looking at combining the 5G and Li-Fi industries. And there's an article here. It says, in fact, Li-Fi should allow 5G to develop by circumventing the technological, health, and environment issues it raises. What would happen if we replaced expensive energy-consuming antennas with billions of low-powered LED light sources in the world? This was the question raised by Olicom, leading to a collaboration with 5G PPP, a public-private partnership initiated by the European Commission to develop solutions, architectures, technologies, and standards for tomorrow's communication infrastructure. The combination of Wi-Fi and 5G will allow the use of 5G in wave-sensitive sectors such as healthcare, aeronautics, industry, and defense. In the near future, the substitution of radio waves by light will open the field of possibilities far beyond the promises of 5G. So one of the largest applications of Lifi that I think will be smart cities. And I know that in the last few years, those of us in the crypto space have heard a lot about smart cities being built out and powered by crypto. And in a presentation by Philips over here called 2030 Smart City Life, they lay out the case for Lifi to be used in cities, and they show you all the applications in these Lifi cities. The most striking thing to me was the beginning here, where it says by the year 2030, more than 60% of the world's population will live in cities, with over 100 new mega cities arising. And they go on to show how connected lighting will enable various city services. We see a autonomous car here being able to know where humans are using the Lifi. We see here that they talk about drones and droids using light infrastructure to navigate. And we get over here to these urban spaces will be transformed into vertical farms. I think that this is one of the things that Bill Gates is getting involved in, is these vertical farms where machines and stuff with the lights will, I guess, take care of the plants. It says vertical farming with less water and without pesticides. So all of this is coming. It's really just a matter of time. I kind of question the speed at which these mega cities will be rolled out like they're saying here. But the real question is, will people want and accept this type of life? Here's something else that I think will happen. I think that eventually Elon Musk, his Starlink, will play a large role in this tech. I don't think that SpaceX is putting up tens of thousands of satellites just to beam down everybody Netflix. And I know that in the crypto space, there's some talk about the satellites hosting cryptocurrency nodes. And I totally believe that. But I think these satellites are going to be playing a much larger role in the coming reset. I'm not going to pretend like I understand all of it, but I think that SpaceX will be a big part of it. So in the short term, I'm pretty excited about the promise of instant payments using networks like Stellar and the XRPL, enabled by Lifi. And I'm pretty stoked for projects like IOTA that'll probably use Lifi to allow for microtransactions between cars and other smart devices. And lately, I've been reading about IOTA and being able to do this. And there's an article here talking about that. It says, harnessing the power of connected mobility. The amount of data and financial transactions that will be produced by connected mobility devices is staggering. How to securely collect, evaluate, and use this information to benefit people, cities, manufacturers, and mobility providers is a critical question in the industry today. Secure, private, and feeless. With IOTA, data and financial transactions generated by connected mobility can be processed securely, privately, and without additional transaction fees. Digital platforms. Cars are turning into digital platforms. They will be able to pay autonomously for parking, charging their batteries, tolls, and other services. But cars will also be able to make money by selling the data they generate or the power stored in their batteries during periods of high energy demand. So it sounds to me like IOTA is going to be a huge player in the future Lifi markets. So look, these companies make all this tech look super exciting. And as a crypto holder, I cannot help but love the thought of all these use cases being developed and then to maybe have the ability to invest in some of this stuff. On the bright side, I would like to think that these new technologies like Lifi will open the possibility of a better future. But ultimately, what I think is going to happen with all this new tech is that tens of millions of humans will be crammed into smart cities or human relocation zones, like some people have called them, and every move and thought will be captured in real time with tech like Elon Musk's Neuralink. And then it'll be sent to our overseers to allow them to punish pre-crime and wrongthink. I think we'll also have RFID chips in our wrist that will allow us to purchase our necessities with UBI and crypto. And if we wander outside the prescribed thought and behavior, our digital money will be turned off like a tap. We're already seeing this in certain countries where protesters had their money turned off. AI and robots will replace humans in work, draining society of its purpose. Families will be cut off from each other with new social media platforms, gaming, and the Metaverse. And drones will deliver food and medicine, getting rid of any reason for a person to wander outside their 400 square foot micro apartment. Like I said, I love the idea of this tech, but for goodness sake, let's hope we're not building out our own digital prisons. Okay, that's it for this one. All of the links for these videos will be in the description, so check them out. And if you don't care, like and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. And give me your thoughts below. Do you think Lifi will enable a better society for all of us, or do you think it'll just be another tool for control? Take care.